All right, so spring is here, and that means the animals will have babies. So our bourbon red turkeys in the back have actually, one of them had just hatched out some baby chicks. So I'm just gonna give you some tips. If your hens, chickens, or turkeys hatch out some chicks, I'm just gonna show you some things that we do to keep the chicks safe and to eventually grow up to be chickens or turkeys. All right, so the first thing I would say is if you have turkeys, I don't know about chickens. Chickens are probably different. I have a video on chickens if you want to see that, the whole broody process. But I'd say turkeys, if you have heritage turkeys, definitely recommend to use a electric netting as we have in the back. It just kind of makes the whole thing more natural, lets the turkeys have tons more space instead of just being locked up in a coop. So first thing is, let your turkeys have electric netting. It'll make them more a chance to go broody, and they'll like it because they can have grass and they can just have a lot more space because they are bigger birds, which will include bigger space for bigger birds. The second thing is to have a brush pile. Now, some things we learned about the brush pile is I think we're gonna keep it. Before, we were just gonna get rid of it because, well, it's a brush pile. Nobody really wants a brush pile. So, but now we've learned that the turkeys think this is a safe place to nest. So if we keep the turkeys here till next spring, I think we're gonna put them back in this area so they can nest again and have more turkeys. So, if you have heritage turkeys, get a brush pile. No, but actually, I think brush piles are actually really good for turkeys, especially the more heritage breed. And I think the turkeys actually feel a lot more safer. There's thorns, there's thistle. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a hawk above us. Wow. So anyways, a brush pile can actually save them from predators because it's so hard to get into. So now when your turkeys have hatched out chicks, you want to make sure they have water. But not just any water, rock water. You should put rocks in the water. So this is actually, if the chicks do get in the water, they won't drown. Rip Jimmy. It was a good chick. As you can tell, we've had past experiences at that. But anyways, yeah. If you put rocks in the water, the chicks won't drown, and they can actually get water instead of the water getting them. Anyways, there's our rock water. There's another point that I haven't made about this whole hatching process is when the turkeys, baby turkeys do hatch, you don't want to be their second mother. You don't want to keep following around. Let the first mother take care of it. After all, she did all the work, right? You were just there kind of watching them. Let the mother that did the work actually do the work again of making sure they're okay. Just let the natural process take the natural course. Now another thing to think about with these turkeys is, for some reason I have found that naturally hatched chicks like this grow up faster than incubated chicks. Now the reason for that, one, they're naturally hatched. I think that their little pea-sized brains think that they need to grow up faster because they're in the wild, because predators could come down from the air or snatch them from the ground. The second reason is the cold. In the nighttime, the cold can quench a little body, just like that. Now, when they're naturally hatched, I think that when they're in an acclimated environment, when the heat is just right and the humidity is just right, I think that their little pea-sized brains can identify that. Anyways, I think that they could actually find that they don't need to grow as fast because they are in such a pristine environment. All right, now that the turkeys are up, I'm gonna show you sort of what I'm gonna show you that turkey mothers are actually really good turkey mothers. I'm not gonna get too close because then it'll kind of scare them and it'll ruin the whole point, but yeah, here it is. Just look at that, you guys. Look, there's one, there's one. Look, there's baby turkeys all the way out there. Wow. See, look at that, you guys. They made it back. Look, these are wandering off, and they make it back to their mothers. How fascinating. Look at these little buggers. No, but actually, there you have it, guys. There's some tips and tricks that we found to keep our turkeys safe, especially when they're naturally hatched like this. Yeah, they should grow up to be fine-looking turkeys. But let me warn you, they grow up so fast.